Good morning, folks. Oh dear. It's just before 10 o'clock. I did do a video earlier around 7:30. Delete it. Yeah, it was no different to how I was last night, so delete it. But then had a kip, woke up, and I think you can probably tell my voice. No, my attitude is, I can't use that word, sod it. Basically, is my attitude. Sod it. No. I'm not going to be defeated by this situation. Deflated, yes. Defeated, no. Yeah, the reality is, did I, before that meeting last night, before 7 o'clock last night, was I in a relationship with vehicle that I lost in that meeting? No. No. Yeah, previous to that point, was I in a relationship with vehicle? No. Did I have a hope for a wife? Yeah. Now I've got a face to that hope. Now I've got a woman that is that hope. If she's that person, then she's still that person. It doesn't change anything in any way, shape, or form. Yeah? She's still, if she is the one that I wrote down all those years ago, then she's still the one I wrote down all those years ago. If she is the one that God intends for me, then there you go. We're joined already. I'm her, she's mine. Nothing's going to change that. There you go. At the moment, I can't do anything about that. That's the reality. I felt this morning that my love for her had gone. It hadn't. It hadn't gone. It's just that I was still incredibly deflated. I just felt incredibly deflated. So I decided, right, I'm going to hide underneath the duvet for a couple of hours. I can't cuddle up to a vehicle. So the only option I've got if I need a bit of comfort is to get under the duvet, right? It helped. So, well, because compared to a couple of months ago, I'm in a far stronger position as a Christian. Well, no, I'm not a Christian. That's the reality. I'm not a Christian. I'm a child of God. I'm a beloved child of God. That's who I am now. That's who I've always been, but I'm now understanding that. So it's like, okay. I'm not a Christian. I'm not going to behave like a Christian. Because I understood. I understood it. And it hurt me from the point that what I understood is I was being just like Cain while in church. I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. This person's got a beautiful wife, I've got nothing. Excuse me, Lord? What's going on? Why has he got it all and I've got nothing? That's church. The knowledge of good and evil. That's why church does all these things like police checking. Because they're doing things according to the worldly system. That's a knowledge of good and evil, isn't it? That's what that's about. It's not about relationship with God. It's not about love. It's about the knowledge of good and evil. Everything is about the knowledge of good and evil. The reason why they didn't want me involved in the cleaning, the pastor was saying, they want... Sorry, I've got some... Oh, PayPal is calling me again. Go away, PayPal. I've got no money to give you right now. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. The pastor was saying about the fact that, cleaning. They want the full-on members to be the ones doing the cleaning because that person may be the only person in the building, so therefore they have to be trusted with the keys. And, so all this point about trusting people, all this point about you're going to trust the person. He said about trusting the person, I think about 10 times while he was explaining it. At no point in time did he mention you're going to trust God for your church. He was talking about you're going to have that. You can't have a single man and a single woman. Excuse me? Are you insane? Cleaning? What, you think they're going to rip each other's clothes off? Vehicle and I were booked to do the cleaning. I put my name down next to hers because of the fact she was on her own on that one. There was no one else on that week. Previous week there was someone else. No one else on that week. So I thought, okay. I put my name down there. What? Are we going to rip each other's clothes off? There in the church hall? Start going at it? On the altar? Over where the baptism port is? Really? That's what you think? Why, because we're single? You think you can't trust God to make sure that if we're going to go at it, we won't do it there? Huh? Well, you think maybe God can't control his people? Maybe God can't, speak to his people about the way they're thinking, maybe working together next to each other. That's bad. That's dangerous. That is. Maybe that's why a vehicle is not coming sat next to me. Maybe the pastor told her not to. Well, if she's taking notice of the pastor, then she's not the one for me. No. But at the moment, she's not. She can't. She's going to be led by that and not led by God. She's going to be led by fear, which exactly is what that is. We can't trust God because we've got all these base desires, knowledge of good and evil, knowledge of good and evil, right? I think you should just have 2 services, one for men, one for women. Really, based on your understanding, just have 2 services. Anyway, my point is, all of that, look, brothers and sisters, I love my brothers and sisters. God put on my heart years ago about the church. I'm going to cut a bit off another video I did earlier. Oh, did I delete? If I've just deleted it, that's going to be quite annoying. I think I probably did. Yeah. No, crap. I'll have to do it again later. Okay. I'll put it this way. Yeah, with regards to the church, I love the church. But I detest what I see there. Absolutely detest it. When you're talking about trusting people, when you're talking about the fear of the wrong people coming in and what could happen, that's not God. That's not relationship with God. You've gone from religion to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And you're stuck there. You can't move forwards. Because you're trying to work your way out of it. And the problem is you can't. There's no way of doing it. All this crap that, you go to this meeting, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Yeah, you can only do it by love. Only by love. Otherwise, your motivation is wrong. And when things don't go your way, you suddenly start having to go, God, because I've done all this. And you've done what? What are you doing, God? What are you giving me? You give them that. Yeah, they've got a family. He has got a family. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got lovely children. He's got a good job. He's got a lovely car. He's got a lovely house. What have I got? I've done the same as him. I go to all the meetings. I do this. I even go to more meetings than he does. That's what you start getting into. When it's not love, when it's seen as works, yeah. You get into that situation where you're working in the field, you're told that your pay is £10 for a day. You get there early. You understand it's £10 for a day. You say, yeah, no problem. Other people come later. One person comes half an hour before the end. Still gets paid £10. You're the one who's pissed. The Lord spoke about it. You're the one who gets pissed. because you done all that work. When your understanding is based upon works, when your understanding is based upon I've done this, 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 you end up in a bad situation. But when your understanding is fear, when your understanding is all the sort of stuff that the churches are based on, I mean, every single church has the same understanding, does things the same way. Every single bloody church. They're not being led by God to do that. They're being led by each other. They're being led by fear. Fear that if they do things differently and things go against them, then it's going to be because they've done things differently. So there's an accepted pattern. If they do things that way and things fall apart, well, we've done things the same as everyone else has. Not our fault, it's the pattern, isn't it? We just copy what they're doing. If you go out on your own and you say, nope, we're going to do things God's way, and things start to go wrong, oh crap, we better go back to the pattern. Right? It's fear-based. There's no faith there at all. You think because you meet, that means there's faith? No. How are you walking? Anyway, I wasn't going to get onto that stuff. The problem is, it's there, it's always in there. When I talk about church and going to church, it's always in there. Yeah? It's in there with me that I want to help to sort things out. The problem is, God hasn't told me yet it's my time. My time is now, so therefore I can't. All I can do now is, as I say, I'm in a better position than I was before. Have I got hope with regards to vehicle? I don't know. At the moment, there's no evidence of anything at all. There's a vacuum there, sort of thing. So, you know, that can change at any minute. Seriously, that can change at any minute. I trust God in that. That can change at any minute. And if it does, then that'll just be the most wonderful thing that could happen to me. Apart from giving my life to God. Well, actually, that wasn't so wonderful because I wasn't walking as I am now then. But that's going to be the most wonderful thing because of the fact that we are going to help each other to walk and talk more as we should do. We're going to be pointing each other to God. We're going to be one of the first couples, not the first couple, one of the first couples, certainly in churchy, who's going to be doing their relationship as God wills. Not doing it according to the world. So, yeah, it would be beautiful if that's the case. But at the moment, I've got to focus on my relationship with God. I've got to focus on just being led and guided by God. Simple. Because when I see the church, the magnitude of the it's very hard for me to see that. Really hard. Yeah. Right, I'm going to do the vision and the dream, okay? It's important to remind even myself of that on a regular basis, so I'll just do that quickly. Okay. I was walking from Gillingham in Kent to Chatham in Kent. Towns right next to each other. I was born in Chatham, lived in Gillingham, and many other areas. There's a field, I can't remember what the name of the field is. It's where they often have the bonfire display in Gillingham, and you've got a Black Lion Leisure Centre just down the road. I used to think that was a Black Lion field. I don't think it is. It's a field related to the school. But anyway, you walk down that field The end of the field, you've got a path that takes you down into Chatham from Gillingham. You can go straight down a steeper bit. When it's wet, not a good idea. When it's dry, great fun, but when it's wet, not a good idea at all. So I was going down the easier slope because I think I was going into another area of town. So it's quicker if you're going into that area of town to go that way. So as you go down this path, it's like a sort of dirt path. You go down there. Near the bottom of that, you've got a graveyard. As you pass the graveyard, you've got the DSS building with the back of that. As I was towards the bottom of that, God said, look, and there was a disabled man, incredibly disabled, could barely control his electric wheelchair. I work with disabled people, so yeah, I knew what I was looking at. Then all of a sudden there was a man, skinhead, tattoos, big. God said, he's going to pick on him. Who do you think is going to win? I said, well, that's a silly question, really. It's obvious who's going to win. Suddenly, the disabled man was healed. Delivered, healed completely. The thug just looked at him and just said, right, okay, I'll leave you to it. You take care. Walked around him, didn't even look at him. Because the disabled man ended up being far bigger than the thug. God says, this is my church. This is my church that's disabled through the religion, the traditions, the separations between the denominations, the patterns that they've all brought in. But I'm going to deliver. I'm going to heal my church. Then that vision ended. A few years later, I had a dream. I went through a door. There was a metal staircase going down. There was a bit of light in the room, so I could see that there was a big metal tank, massive tank, about the size of a swimming pool. Not quite as wide, but as long. I could see the tank was full of water. As I got further down the steps, I could see that there was dolphins and porpoises and other types of that type swimming around in it. Now, I don't know whether they're called mammals or creatures or mammals. Are they called mammals? Something like that. And there was a walkway along the side of it. So I started walking along the side of the tank. Now I could see the creatures seem to be swimming towards the far end. There was a hole there they seem to be going through. Okay, cool. There must be another pond or something there. Cool. So I walked along. About halfway along, I could see that, no, these dolphins, etc., weren't swimming there. They were being pulled by a current. I could see fear in their eyes. But I still thought, well, there must be something over the other side, another tank or something. I could see the end of the tank. So, okay, go to the end, look out. There's a drop to concrete. These creatures are being pulled through there by a current and are dropping to their deaths. I could see that someone has cut down 2 lines into the tank and folded it over to create this opening where you've got all the water coming through and the mammals coming through. But I can get out there. I can try and push this thing back up to stop the water coming through, to stop them coming through. I go out. I try and push this metal back up to close the gap. But I don't have the strength. All the water, the force of the water and the force of these mammals coming through, I just don't have the strength. I cry out. Tears rolling down my face, and then The voice says, this represents my people that are being led away from me. But now is not your time. And I woke up. The reason why it's hard going into a church is because whenever I go into a church and I see their churchiness, those are the things that I see. I see the people now, I know, in all honesty, some of those people are in between. Where they're going to go, they're going to be led astray. They're going to be led away to their deaths. You go to any church, there's people in those churches that are in danger of that. And that's why it's really difficult being in those places. But you take care, God bless, I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.